Week 9 in the NFL saw a lot of upsets, a lot of injuries, and one long kick. I'm going to recap this weekend's games and the dramatic conclusion to the World Series. I'm Ashley Haas, and I'm all in.
The money keep calling my name. Dollar signs make you sing.
Welcome back to All In with Ashley. Folks, if you missed this week in football, you missed history. A rookie just changed the record books. I'm talking Cam Little from the Jacksonville Jaguars, 22 years old, and he walked out onto that field and launched a 68-yard field goal to end the first half. And I would like to talk about this with a lot of other matchups with a very special guest. So today we have a true sports fan. He has his own show himself. Jastremski, who is the host of New York, New York, which you can catch on The Ringer and on Spotify, is here to break down this weekend's games with us. So John, welcome.
Ashley, my pleasure. There's certainly a lot to dissect. Chiefs, Bills lives up to the hype. Whole lot of teasers and parlays go down with a couple of big favorites losing. A crazy game set. How did I do this week? That's an excellent question. Excellent question. I had the Atlanta Falcons to cover. That was a big one for me.
Wow, you did.
I did. They covered 6.5. I had the Steelers, which was beautiful. Unfortunately, I had the Houston Texans, who lost their quarterback in the second quarter. And I was dumb enough to take Washington on Sunday Night Football, which was a big mistake.
You did?
Yeah,
oh, no. I know. And Jaden Daniels went down in that air cast. Oh, that reminded me so much of Scattaboo. Like, I'm getting chills again. Like, I hated watching it. I get, like, queasy. I'm, like, the worst person. When it comes to gore and things like that, I love it when scary movies, when things pop out at you. But anytime there's gore, I can't look. I literally almost lose it. And watching Jaden Daniels go down, first of all, he wasn't even supposed to be. He shouldn't have even been playing. He was still injured. Are you mad that he was still playing? Like, there was no chance they were going to win that game. They should have pulled him.
So there's an argument to be made that, yes, that's the right course of action. However, let's be honest on this, Ashley, it's football. It's a contact sport. Injuries are going to happen. And not that Washington was going to win that game against Seattle, but for a player who's dealt with injury and the idea of getting him back into game speed, getting him back in a rhythm, trying to find the feel, the flow that he had a year ago, there's a case to be made. Hey, if you're on the coaching staff, he's out of whack. He's out of rhythm. He needs the reps. We got to get this straightened out. And that's the risk you run just playing a contact sport like football. Like, the game could be closed. The game could be a blowout. Things, unfortunately, happen. But the reality for Washington is they were a team a year ago that had all this good voodoo, that had all this good karma. They won all these close games. Daniels was this unbelievable story. And this year, they've had a market correction. They brought in a bunch of old guys. The old guys haven't necessarily helped their team out. And they're in for a long year. All I know is that Dolphins in Washington and Madrid, not exactly a game, actually, that's going to be easy on the eyes next Sunday in Spain.
Okay, so right before we went live, I'm too honest. I have to say, you just dropped a bomb on me and told me you are not a New York Giants fan. As a New York host, you are a Dolphins fan? I mean, I can't even pretend anymore. Tell me about this, because I was like, stop and tell me on camera. So tell me now how you became a Miami Dolphins fan instead of a Giants fan. I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah, gladly. Listen, no, it ended up being a poor life choice. I could have seen a couple of Super Bowls in my lifetime, like my buddies did when they beat the undefeated Patriots, and then they beat them again 4 years later. But look, I root for all New York teams. I root for the Yankees. I root for the Knicks. Like, I love the 90s Yankees Don Mattingly and Jeter, Bernie Williams, those guys in my heart. They're like my formative sports years growing up rooting for that team. And Patrick Ewing, obviously, with the Knicks. But I'm a child of the 90s, so I'm born in 88. And as I'm getting into football, mid-1990s, like 95, 96, the Jets sucked. The Giants sucked. They were boring. They were unwatchable. They were losers. And the Dolphins had cool uniforms. They had this badass Dan Marino as their quarterback. And, I made a poor life choice. It builds character. I'll say this, actually, like it builds character rooting for a team like the Dolphins, but it's no like trade secret in New York. Like anybody who knows me and knows the content that I bring to the table, like
Mhm.
I watch, dissect, analyze the Jets and the Giants weekly. I did it
Yeah.
this past Monday on my pod. That said, I'm a Dolphin fan. Guilty.
I gotta tell you, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it just hit me. I also had a young Dolphins phase where I loved the color. It was like my favorite color growing up. I loved Dan Marino as well from, Einhorn and Finkel and Einhorn. I
Yeah.
loved him. Like Ace Ventura was like the best movie ever. So, of course, I loved Dan Marino as well. And I think I remember my dad, I made him take me to like a Boscov's or like a department store back in the day and being like, please buy this for me. And he looked
What
at
you
me.
want, like the starter jacket? The starter
Yeah, I wanted
jackets
a
were
full
in vogue.
starter jacket in
Yeah.
that color. And I remember my dad being like, no, like I'll never do that. No. So I think there was a time where I almost, if they had been like, do you? Sure. I think I could have been a Dolphins fan. But then I have parents in Philadelphia that were instantly like, take it off. So I did. But yeah, there was almost a time when I became a Dolphins fan. And you know
it
what?
would have been for you a poor life choice because, hey, you won the Super Bowl last year with your Eagles. You had the great Philly special Nick Foles game against New England. By the way, I had the Eagles big in that game. That was one of my favorite Super Bowls I did. I was so weirdly confident they were going to win. And it made no sense because they're going up against like the greatest coach quarterback combo.
Right? You know what? I get chills you saying that because it actually reminds me of my feeling in that game. I said, if we're ever going to win a Super Bowl, and that was the first one we win, it's going to be against a 5-time, at the time, Tom Brady was a 5-time Super Bowl champ against our backup quarterback who, now looking at it, if Carson Wentz had started, do I think we would have won the Super Bowl? Probably not. I mean,
it is crazy to think about, but it was one of those years where everything went according to a script that was just meant to be. That's it. Sometimes in sports, you learn this, like we saw it in the World Series with Toronto this past weekend. You see elements at play that make you think it's out of, rational thought. And it's like supernatural, like the idea of like IKF being out by inches at the plate or Pajes and Kike Hernandez colliding into each other and still holding on. Like, I could do a full dissertation on that Game 7 of the World Series, just saying.
I mean, so I was literally watching that game actually with a former Dodger/Phillies player, Chase Utley, and I remember just losing my mind. And I've actually told this story because I had him send my dad a video, and my dad was kind of a jerk about it, but whatever. But I had a feeling. And I still have not seen them win a Super Bowl live because this last year I watched it with my dad. I thought, let me watch a Super Bowl with my dad, thinking it would be a sweet, fun memory. It's not fun watching football with your parents that are older.
Yeah, but last year must have been fun. I mean, you guys won by a zillion. The game was over from Jump Street. At least you didn't have to stress, Ashley?
He refused to watch any commercials. What is the point of being home watching the football game if you're not allowed to watch the Super Bowl commercials?
So what did he do during the commercials?
He was putting on like old car shows and
See, I gotta take your dad to task on this. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan. The commercials are like window dressing for me with the game. But like, what? It's the Super Bowl. Like that's
the Super Bowl.
This is not like a random July game where you're watching the Phillies play the Mets and it's like, hey, I'm gonna flip on this or I'm gonna flip on. No, it's the Super Bowl. You watch the commercials. I got you back on this. I got you back.
Thank you. It's funny because every person, and I actually was supposed to have gone to the game, but it's a long story, but my tickets would have actually come from an ex, and I was being polite to the current boyfriend I was with. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch it with my dad. And then about like 3 days later, we broke up and I was like, I should have gone to the Super Bowl. And I was like, oh, why did I think this was sweet watching with my father? And he was a terror watching it with. So people kept coming up to me and being like, congratulations, congratulations. And people always, when you say congratulations, look down at your stomach or your hand and you're like, I'm still single and I'm not pregnant. And yes, my team won and I wasn't there. And I was like so angry. And everyone's like, but your team just won. Shouldn't you be excited? I'm like, I'm so excited. I was
There you
I
go.
couldn't have any more like nervous breakdown, but it was the greatest moment of my life and also the worst because I wanted to be there so bad, just like I wanted to be in Minnesota when we won the first one. But I will take Chase Utley as a second replacement to watch that game with, because that was a legendary way to watch my team win the Super Bowl, which reminds me of the Dodgers. Did you watch the World Series? This was
Of course. Not only did I watch. Listen, I'm a baseball junkie. Like baseball has my heart. Like it's my first love as the sport. Football's king. Like we talk about it nonstop. It obviously drives the most conversation. But when you have the drama of a winner-take-all Game 7, and you're like living and dying on every pitch, and every at-bat, and every play carries so much weight and so much significance. I said it on my pod Sunday night. I don't think I'm being dramatic in saying this. Take the rooting interest out of it. Just like look at it from like, hey, here's a game, neutral party.
Yeah.
How do you like win? It's the best sporting event I've seen this decade. So what?
Right?
It's 2025. We're going back to 2015. It's better than 28-3 with the Patriots and the Falcons. It's the only one that maybe you want to tell me is Warriors Cavaliers, which was great. LeBron finally bringing home a championship for Cleveland. 73-win Golden State. I still think this was better. Super Bowl Chiefs Niners went to overtime, was great. I still think this is the best sporting event I've seen this decade.
I mean, when the fact that they went 18 innings, the bottom of the 18th inning in Game 3, and then I watched it. I was holding my eyes open.
I give you credit. I fell asleep in the top half of the 18th inning. And I'm kind of sick to I'll tell you what happened. I'm on East Coast. I'm in New York. So I stay up pretty late. Like I'm like, all right, 12th inning, no problem. 14th inning, no problem. I moved. I was sitting up straight on the couch. The 18th inning, I drifted. I said, let me lay down a little bit. I nodded off. But I woke up actually literally as Freddie Freeman was rounding second base on the walk-off homer. And I was like, gotta be kidding me. Sucks.
Honestly, have you ever realized that Freddie Freeman reminds me so much? I was doing a side-by-side of who they kind of remind me of. And he reminds me of the kid from Home Alone, the brother.
Oh, Buzz? I can see that a little bit. I can see that a little bit.
Oh my God. It is, I can't unsee it now that I've seen it now. And, you know, it's so funny to me. But anyways.
Well, now you gotta create the meme. I mean, around Christmas time, when everybody's watching Home Alone, you want to go and make a little extra loot, go create the meme. Go viral.
Yeah, there's so many side-by-sides that I want to do. I mean, I think I'm going to tell my kids for sure that the kid from Home Alone is who scored, you know, the winning home run in Game 3 and ended that nightmare of 18 innings. But and also the fact that I'm pretty sure Carson Wentz was at that game. It was actually Harry and Meghan, but you know, I'm pretty sure that's Carson Wentz. I mean,
by the way, I thought Meghan Markle was Canadian. I saw her sitting there with the Dodger hat on.
She lived in LA for a while, but
now she's selling out her country? Come on, man. Come on.
Okay.
Listen, I'm a Dolphin fan. There's no trade secret about this. But, like, I could move to Los Angeles, and the Yankees are playing the Dodgers. You think I'm wearing a Dodger hat? Get the hell out of here.
Well, no, hold on. I mean, in fairness, I did go to the Dodgers playoffs game last year when they were playing the Padres, and I am more of a Dodgers fan than a Padres fan. So whoever team I'm more of a fan of, I'm not going to rock my Phillies stuff to that playoff game.
No, but I'd go neutral. That's fair. I wouldn't wear Yankee. Like if you Phillies Met game, right? I went to a Phillies Met game in August. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have no dog in the fight. Just going to hang out, have a couple beers, watch a baseball game. I'm not wearing Yankee stuff, but I'm just going to go neutral. I'll wear, whatever. I'll just go and be chill.
Okay, I see that, and I normally like that, but I think the longer I've worked in sports, the more I've respected certain teams and started having second favorite teams and third favorite teams.
You have a little affinity, all right.
And for me, like I have this Brooklyn Dodgers pennant that was actually my grandmother's. She went to that game, and she ended up becoming a Phillies fan later on. But she went to see Jackie Robinson perform. That's such a cool thing. So when I went to the game, I did wear a Brooklyn Dodgers. That I can do. Like I like throwbacks. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'll represent a throwback version of that team. But yeah, the Yankees are my second favorite baseball team. I would say probably because my dad was a huge Mickey Mantle fan growing up, and I mean I really don't like the Mets, so I always cheer for them.
Well, I understand that, right? Like there's the Philly Met dynamic, a lot of great games, great rivalry, whole deal. No ill will towards the Yankees though for 2009 in the World Series? Because I was the senior at Syracuse for that bad boy. And I had a lot of Philly. It's weird because I have no ill will towards the Phillies, right? Like the Yankees, the Phillies don't necessarily look at them as rivals.
Yeah, we don't.
But it got pretty testy watching those guys. I watched game one out at a bar. Chase Utley, you brought him up, hit a couple of home runs against CC Sabathia, and I said, no more watching the games at the bar the rest of the World Series. I was bunkered down. My old college house, I'd be like, all right, I'm going out after these games. That way I don't have to deal with like the amount of Philly people that I might run into. Like I needed a very partisan Yankee crowd watching those World Series games. No offense.
No, that's okay. That's fair enough. We are a very annoying fan base. I will be the first.
Yeah, but so do Yankee fans though. So it's
like,
it's
loyal.
mutual, you know?
We're loyal. And you know what? We had a week off, so you don't even have to hear I shouldn't even be saying the E word. I promised I would give you guys a week off. So let's talk about some other games in the NFL that were super close. So I kind of started off by talking about the fact that Cam Little helped the Jacksonville Jaguars edge out the Raiders in a 30-29 win in overtime. And that was such a close game. He beat out Justin Tucker's 66-yarder, which was the record that was held from 2021. But this kid also kicked a 70-yard field goal in the preseason. So it's actually kind of crazy. People were even making jokes about the fact that maybe he, needed to take a drug test immediately after, which was fake and that wasn't real. If anyone should take a drug test, by the way, did you see JJ McCarthy's eyes after the game? They were like wiling out. He was not that it's bad to meditate because I meditate too, but I just think meditating on the sidelines in the middle of the game is an odd choice. But I mean, hey, listen, whatever worked because it did work.
You beat the Lions, exactly. Viking fans are going to be saying you better be meditating every single week now,
I know. So I'm like, anyways, but that was a wild win as well. I can't even believe it. I definitely took the Lions on that one, and that was a loss. Another 1-point game between the Jags and the Jags and the Raiders, which ended in 1 point. The Patriots' victory over the Falcons, man. I did think the Patriots were going to win. I thought they were going to win by more than one, though, so we didn't cover the spread on that one, too, which was super annoying. Did you think the Patriots were going to cover?
Okay, so I didn't. I'll tell you why. I thought you were laying too many points. To me, when I look at
NFL, 5.5?
Yeah, but think about this for a minute. The Patriots have been red hot. I love the cup, by the way. Red hot. Patriots winning all these games. Drake May playing unbelievable football. Yeah. Atlanta lost to my pathetic team and got smoked by the Dolphins. So I kind of looked at the game and said, hey, the market is giving you a great buy low spot on the Falcons. Okay. And they're giving you a great sell high point on the Patriots. Yeah. Now, I didn't think Atlanta would win the game. I just thought it would be a tight to the wire game.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, Drake London had 3 touchdowns in the game. He made some unreal catches. And you might have covered the 5.5, Ashley, if the kicker didn't miss the extra point. Like, as someone that bet Atlanta, I was so happy Romo missed the extra point because I said, all right, there's now no incentive and motivation for New England to try to score. They're just going to try to run the clock out. So I wasn't surprised by that game. The Jacksonville game, Brock Bowers was amazing. Little's going to take the headlines because he hit this insane field goal. The Raiders were so much more spunky with Brock Bowers. They just absolutely screwed up the 2-point play, and they just find ways to lose. But it's interesting. You mentioned those 2 games out of the gate. I thought you were going to hit me with Chiefs-Bills, to be honest with you. I thought that's where you were going to go.
Getting there. We're building up to it.
All right, fair enough. I jumped the gun.
That was the game of the season. I mean, that was the game. These other ones were surprisingly good. But right out of the gate, let's talk about it. That was, first of all, I did predict Josh Allen was going to win that game. I didn't put it in my pick 6, though, because I just was like, I don't know. But they are statistically always beating the Chiefs in regular season. They just can't pull out the wins in postseason. So does it really matter that he's 5-0 against Mahomes in regular season? I mean, not if you're not going to bring home the bacon in the end of the day. Like, it's a cool stat, but the Bills need to figure out a way, and maybe this is their year, or is it the Patriots? Because that is a team. They are right now leading their division, the Patriots and the Bills. Like, that's why we needed to talk about the Patriots first, because I am in shock right now that it is between these two teams leading the league, and it is just a coin toss. It could be either one going, into playoffs, or actually probably both, because one's going to probably be a wild card anyway. But I don't know. Who would take it, you think, the Patriots or the Bills?
I'm still rolling with Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I think you had a very astute point about Buffalo and Kansas City and the significance of these regular season matchups. You know what they mean, Ashley? Zero.
Not much. Yeah.
Zilch.
Yeah.
Sorry. Josh Allen, as brilliant as he is, has got to beat Mahomes when it matters. And that's why, look, Buffalo had a great game plan. Buffalo's defense exceeded my expectations. Patrick Mahomes looked incredibly uncomfortable for 4 quarters. But until I see Buffalo knock out Kansas City to end their season, I, for one, can't put a whole lot of stock in it, because it's Groundhog Day. It's deja vu. We've been here before with the Bills beating the Chiefs. I didn't bet the game. I'm kind of mad I didn't bet Buffalo because of you know what it is? They haven't beaten Kansas City. So every time they see them in the regular season, it's this like lingering bad taste of losing a playoff game. And it's like you get their best. You get their uber focus. They go and execute.
They feel confident. Josh Allen needs to feel confident, I think. I agree with you. Do you think that this is their year to break through and beat the Chiefs in the playoffs?
I have to see it to believe it.
I know.
I know people in Western New York are going to say, oh, this is a bitter Dolphin fan talking. But no, it's just reality. Until Buffalo beats Kansas City when it matters, how can you take them? Now, I think Buffalo will win the division. I think Buffalo's best chance of beating them, Ashley, is making sure the game is going to be in Orchard Park again.
Yeah.
And that they're going to end up, like, let's put it this way.
Home field advantage is everything for the Bills.
And you get a week off, and you don't have to go and play wild card weekend and have injuries and lose a couple of bodies. You're as rested as you're going to be. Like, if I'm Buffalo, I'm saying, hey, I got the tiebreaker over Kansas City. I got to beat New England the next time I play them.
Yeah.
But I can't mess around with these games. I got to be humming and firing on all cylinders. That's Buffalo's best chance of getting to the Super Bowl. Getting a 1 seed, making sure the Chiefs game is at home, and taking care of business.
The Chiefs have just been so up, down, and their record isn't that great. I mean, I saw right now a stat that said if we were to go into playoffs right now, they wouldn't even make it. So obviously they're a better team than they are putting up the stats and the numbers too. Like their losses are so close. They are having a hard schedule, but I'm just not seeing enough consistency in this Chiefs team to really bring it back again this year. I'm probably going to eliminate them. I've already had in the beginning of the season.
Oh, be careful, Ashley.
I know.
Be careful. Be careful.
You think that that's true, by the way. So many of these teams in the very end that could be doing bad, and then they just win, boom, 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 boom. And I actually think their schedule is much easier in the second half anyway, which is really important because that's when all the injuries pile up. It's actually better to have a harder start and an easier second half. But yeah, I know.
They're -6. All you need to know, Ashley, they're -650 to make the playoffs. You're right. If the season ended today, they'd be on the outside looking in. They're -650 to make the playoffs. They're absolutely going to make the playoffs. And look, I think they're vulnerable on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Buffalo exploited that. I'm not saying it's a given Kansas City's going to be back in the Super Bowl, but
there'll be a wild card and they'll probably win.
Maybe. They might win it. They played Denver twice. They got another game with the Chargers. They're not dead in the... They need to beat Denver.
I think Denver is a great team. Look at them. I mean, I really
Is it a little smoke and mirrors, though, with the Broncos? To me, it's a little smoke and mirrors.
I don't know. I'm kind of really into the Broncos. I'm really into the Broncos. I'm really into the Lions. I'm really into the Colts. And I'm into the Seahawks, believe it or not.
Seahawks are playing great.
Sam Darnold. Oh my God. He looks so different as a Seahawk than as a Jet, by the way. He's like slimmed down. He looks so sophisticated. What is it about the Jets that just defeats your soul as a person?
There's a lot of it. That's why they have the longest playoff drought in professional sports. But no, I think Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones specifically.
Yeah.
are examples of guys that just needed a change of scenery. It's
Yeah.
a lot to play in our city. It
It is.
is. The
It is.
media, the
It is.
scrutiny, you got 10 zillion reporters in front of your face
Yeah.
every single day. And people are going to say, oh, he played at USC. Oh, Daniel Jones played at Duke. It's totally different.
Yeah.
And look, Daniel Jones won a playoff game with the Giants. Body betrayed him. Never got back to that level. Needed to go and kind of find himself. He has. He's in a much better environment in Indy. Sam Darnold left the Jets, went to the Panthers, didn't have success there, kind of got coached up by Kyle Shanahan for a year, got to sit and watch for a year and kind of process, hey, this is what I got to do differently. This is how I'll handle things if I go and get another opportunity. Played great with the Vikings, stunk it up in the playoffs, stunk it up in Week 18, but had a great regular season, and now is on a really good Seattle team. Smart offensive coordinator, Jackson Smith-Njigba, great weapon, and he's playing great. So it just goes to show you with these quarterbacks, situation and sometimes learning from your mistakes is just everything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Daniel Jones had, I think, 342 passing yards. Like, that's crazy considering they lost to Pittsburgh. You know, those are crazy odds. I mean, he had more passing yards than Aaron Rodgers did in that game. Do you think that Aaron Rodgers still has it? You know, yes, they won that game, but I don't know. Seeing the juxtaposition of how he played against his old team, and then, you know, watching the Steelers home, I think they needed that redemption game. I think the Colts were due for a loss. They had only won the whole season. I mean, pretty incredible. And it was a road game. You know, I don't know. I think the Colts are still better than they played. They had 6 turnovers, which killed them. That was the key factor for the Colts team. Like that, the fumbles, the interceptions, the sacks, like everything was piling up for the Colts. And I think that was just a trap game. Like I don't think it shows that the Steelers are going to win every game now because they beat the best team. I think that it was a little bit more of Aaron Rodgers needs to prove he still has it. You know, I think that was more what it was.
Yeah, and listen, the Colts, to your point, were kind of due for a clunker. They had a clunker. Yeah. And as far as your question on Aaron Rodgers is not the athlete he was earlier in his career. But if you give him time to throw the football, he still can sling it. I mean, we've seen that now. Saw it last year at the end of the season with the Jets. Pittsburgh wisely realized Russell Wilson and Justin Fields ain't it. And even at the back 9 of his particular career, Aaron Rodgers gave them a much better vibe, chance to win. He's playing with something to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Let's put it this way with the Steelers. Their bigger concern is not their quarterback, it's their defense. Their defense finally came to play against Indianapolis last week, and that was much needed. I think they're a clear second-tier team in the AFC. Yeah. Like, I don't think the Steelers are one of the top 3 teams. I don't even think it's close. I do think they're playing January football, and we'll see if Mike Tomlin and the Steelers could do something they haven't done in a decade, win a playoff game.
Oh, yeah. Now, you just struck something that just literally made my light bulb go ding, ding, ding. All right, we need to talk about defense. And I'm talking about the Bengals, who, you know what I mean, with Jamar Chase and Chase Brown post-game were so upset about the loss against the Chicago Bears that they took to an interview and basically blamed the defense live on camera. And while I completely agree they are right, you just shouldn't do it. It's just... It's not nice. It's just a little not nice. And I would say this, Jamar Chase, while he made a couple of hot mic comments and, you know, his interview wasn't so bad until the very end. The very last comment, I was like, oh, did you need that? But Chase Brown hitting him with the let us beeping go to a 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel. You know, he was saying, finish the beeping game. Just end it. That's it. That's what we need to do. Just end the beeping game. Make them give us the ball back. It's crazy. You know, I think that is something you don't do, because when you mess up, you don't want the defense to be interviewed and say, why are you dropping balls? What do we need to do? Put glue to your hands? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you, I just don't
It
think
fosters a bad environment. No, I get that. I totally
Yeah.
get that. Look, what you saw in Cincinnati
Yeah.
is frustration boiling over, right? Chase Brown and Jamar Chase are not wrong. The
They're not
Bengal
wrong.
defense stinks. It has cost them multiple games this year. It's now cost them in back-to-back weeks against the Jets and the Bears. However, it doesn't show signs of togetherness. And that's what you need in order to have a successful football operation. The minute, Ashley, you're saying, you did this, then there's more finger pointing. Then there's this divide within the team
Childlike.
between the offense and the defense. It's not going to lead to the kumbaya you want to win games.
Yeah.
It's just not.
I mean, that game was actually a wildly high-scoring game. I hope people took the over on that one. I didn't. I wish I did, but I didn't. The Chicago Bears ended up beating the Bengals, and I see the frustration in Chase Brown and Jamar Chase. The Chase squared. Chase squared is unhappy, and I get it. They should be, because they're doing their job on their end, and that's as much as they can do. But the whole point of it isn't an I thing. It's not like the Chase Bengals, it is the Cincinnati Bengals. So unfortunately, it's a team effort. And, that's something that they need to do. Maybe they need to pick up in the draft some more defensive players, somebody that can help this team get to where they need to be, because look at the 49ers. They are so injury prone, and yet they are still winning games somehow. It's kind of crazy that we can't really blame injuries of quarterbacks anymore, because so many quarterbacks are injured. So many players are injured. This has been, I think, an unprecedented amount of injuries, which really probably the league should look at next year. But, I think ultimately, figure it out. Figure it out, because if the 49ers can do it and these other teams can do it with, their backup quarterbacks or their star players being out, you guys can do it too, and don't blame game, But
Hey,
congrats to the Bears.
It's a great point. It's a great point on the Niners, and it just goes to show you what a good coach Kyle Shanahan is. I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl. I know he's had some bitter playoff losses.
Yeah.
This arguably is one of, if not the best coaching job he's ever done. I know the Niners have a soft schedule. No one is saying that the Giants are a bunch of world beaters. They're not. But you find ways to win, right? Because every team in the league, the Niners have it more so than other teams. I get it. No Bosa, no Warner. I understand. But everybody's got injuries.
I will say I did feel so bad. A part of me really did want the Giants to win that game. I didn't think they did, but I was like, without Scattaboo, can they do it? But I just feel like now Jackson Dart just looks really lost without,
See, I don't even think it's Dart. I think it's the defense. The defense stinks, Ashley. Stinks.
Yeah.
It's awful. Listen, Dart, I know they had 5 consecutive possessions without scoring. You're not going to win in the NFL that way.
Yeah.
He doesn't look overwhelmed. He's confident.
No.
He's not throwing interceptions. He's very poised for a young guy. Dart's the least of their problems. They got a quarterback. Their coach is 11-32 in his last 43 games. How you keep a job with that sort of record, I have no idea. And the defense looked like it was going through the motions. It looked like it quit in the second half.
Oh, yeah.
That, to me, is the Giant bigger problem. The Giant defense that was flying all over the field against the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, that unit has been nowhere to be found since that game. Nowhere to be found.
No, I 1,000% agree with you. I think definitely the defense was the main issue in that. I just think that Dart needs that person that he can connect with, rely on, and just know that he can trust in.
Yeah,
and
no
I
question.
think that his person was Scattaboo, and now his person is gone. So it's like he now needs to figure out who in his team is going to be his
dude. And not only that, hey, Malik Neighbors, offensive rookie of the year, stud player.
Yeah.
He lost him in his first game. So you're absolutely, to lose Neighbors and to lose Scattaboo, it's okay, who am I throwing the ball to? Problematic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for him in those high stress situations, it's give it to my boy, or give it to this person. And now it's kind of figuring out your team a little bit. And that's not a bad thing. I did love watching those two play together. I was thinking that both of them could even be MVP, for rookie season. Um, God, I'm a little crushed. But listen, it's no surprise. I think the Giants season's probably done this year, but I do love Jackson Dart. I do love him, and I do think he's been playing amazing. And actually, I think Eli Manning's son dressed up as Jackson Dart.
Good Halloween costume. You got to make sure. You got to make sure you get that eye black right.
I thought it was adorable. I was like, that's so cute. I love seeing that. But yeah, so I mean, were there any other games this weekend that you were just completely shocked by?
Oh, that's a good question. Shocked.
Yeah.
It takes a lot to shock me. I would say Green Bay losing outright to the Carolina Panthers would probably be the game. I know a lot of people are going to look at Detroit and Minnesota. I'm not going to say
helmets. My goodness, the
well,
fake helmets.
You know what it is? The division games are always tricky. So anytime you have a division game against a desperate team and Minnesota's well coached, I didn't think they were going to win. But division games, sometimes you get some weird results. I didn't think Carolina was going to go into Green Bay and play the way that they did. And maybe that was more about the Packers than it was the Panthers. But shocked. I mean, they were the biggest underdog on the board, and they won the game outright, right?
I know. Actually, yeah, that was such a shock to me. I didn't take that game. I didn't want to touch that game. I kind of had a feeling that the Packers could lose just because I'm not so convinced that they are as amazing. And that spread was so high only because they just beat the Steelers in their territory. But there was something about it. I didn't touch that game. I didn't believe in the Packers as much. So I wasn't so shocked, but I was also, and I think people always underestimate the Panthers a bit too. But I don't know that I'm on the Packers bandwagon. Like, I'm not on it. I
get that. You know what? I'll explain it for you.
Yeah.
The eye test for them has not treated them well. If you look at a lot of their quote-unquote metrics and a lot of these smarter people than me who analyze football, who are in these analytics departments, the EPA per play, I'm not going to bore you with any of the stats. The Packers grade out super well in all of those statistics. Here's the problem I have. There's something off about their inability to finish off opponents. Jordan Love, do you trust him in January? Matt LaFleur wins in the regular season. Do you trust him in January? I think the Packers are going to win the division. I think they're going to be a playoff team. I do not think they're a Super Bowl team. I don't. No. There's something off there, and I don't know how to put it in tangible words, but that's my personal opinion on it.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with you completely. To me, it's not I think they're going to make it to the playoffs. Maybe they'll win one game in one round, but I think they'll be out after one round. That's what I'm predicting. I mean, I think they're good. I just don't think they're Super Bowl good. If you were Super Bowl good, you would have won. You would have won this past weekend at home. So, I think the only thing winning was maybe the fact that they had their throwback uniforms. Those uniforms were throwing me off. It was such a weird color.
Oh, the Packer uniforms. To be honest, Ashley, you almost deserve to lose wearing those uniforms. You know what I mean? Like, that's bad omen.
The helmet was like, I get it, but it was actually such a weird thing to make it look like the old school leather. And I don't know. It was trying too hard. I actually didn't even know a game I was watching when I turned it on. I'm like, the heck team is brown and navy? I'm like, what? Like, it was just so confusing to me. But whatever. I mean, I sound like my mother right now talking about their uniforms so much. But back to their playing skills. Honestly, young love. What can we say? Young love. I loved their jerseys next to each other. I was like,
well, hopefully for Packers Eagles on Monday Night Football, it's classic Green Bay uniforms. And I know the Eagles can't wear the Kelly Greens because they're on the road, but those always find a way to vibe. They're one of the best.
Oh yeah. I do. I love that we still managed to get my Eagles in. I didn't even do it, but yes.
I'll take
Kelly
credit.
Green,
That's fine. I'll take the credit.
Like my Kelly Green microphone and my Eagles. Yeah. So then I get to talk about the Eagles again. We were going to get Freddie Mitchell on. He might be coming on next weekend. So hopefully we can get him on and he can give us our take on the Eagles game.
Nice.
So, but I do appreciate you so much, John, for coming on and talking with us today. Is there a lock this coming week that you are dead set on giving us?
Wow.
So,
all right. The pressure's on. I'm going to give you,
on the spot.
I'm going to give you two.
Ooh, okay.
I think the Bucks off the bye are a great
Ooh.
bet against New England. I think New
Okay.
England due for a loss. Tampa going to get a little healthier. Tampa at
I
home.
like that.
I'm a big Baker Mayfield guy. I'm going to take the
What's
Bucks.
the spread on that right now?
2.5.
Okay. And the Bucks are home.
They're at home, laying 2.5.
Oh, wow. Definitely. I do like that.
I'm going to give you that one. I got one more for you, though.
Okay. Give me another pick.
Underdogs, Sunday Night Football.
I love that.
Pittsburgh Steelers, +3 against the Los Angeles Chargers. Joe Alt, not going to play. Charger line, all sorts of destroyed with injuries.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers found a little something on defense. I'm taking the Steelers and the Buccaneers, rock and roll.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I kind of like it. I'm into it.
I gave you two.
Yeah, I'm into it. Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, John, for taking the time to talk with us today. I'm definitely going to be watching you on New York, even though you are a Dolphins fan. And you should check him out too on The Ringer and Spotify. John, thank you so much. JJ, I forgot. I can call you JJ
I was going to say, I tried to make it easier for you with my crazy last name, you know? Thank you, Ashley.
Well,
Anytime.
I love that, JJ. JJ, we got to get you back soon. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today on All In with Ashley. Thanks.
No problem.
Thanks for watching All In with Ashley. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and find us on YouTube. And leave me a comment, because I'm going to pick one of those comments to read on the very next episode of All In with Ashley. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys very soon. Thanks for stopping by. And be all in.
The money keep calling my name. Dollar signs make you sing.